3, 2, 1.
Damn, if y'all know what it took to get here.
5 vampire bats.
All right, just before we start, I was trying to get out of the quarter during the Easter parade. I pulled into the Easter parade out of the lot on Rampart, and we were in the Easter parade illegally.
And the police said, nah.
And the police stopped us and asked us to pull over into a parking lot and then guided us out of the street to get to another one out of the quarter. So just saying.
Did they hand you a carrot
No.
You used the
No.
word guided.
like a
and I was
certain-
like,
Yeah, they did.
that was like,
Yeah.
that was like a,
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
it's
Yeah.
like a bulldog foaming at the mouth.
That's happened
Right.
during the
Right.
Easter parade. So yeah. That's
So
weird.
I illegally exited the quarter and we found safety
By
to
the
do the
Mississippi
episode.
River, baby.
Yeah.
We
we're chilling by the
outlaws.
Mississippi.
We outlaws out here.
We're outlaws, guys. That's just what we're saying. Okay, so walking the crossroads. Welcome to another fine episode. That is Darren Bucare. I am
Very
Firewalker.
excited. Thank
It's
you.
good to meet you, Darren. It's good to
And
meet you.
good for these two to
It's a
meet.
real pleasure to meet you, Dusty. Yeah,
We're
Yes,
the
sir.
like your
we're the
vibe.
phone machine.
Yeah, the phone machine. So this is Dusty Santamaria.
What's up, y'all?
A fantastic.
These are my eyes.
That's what he looks like. Yes. Take a look. So he is a musician, spiritualist, healer, poet, speaker, manifester of realities and worlds. He's just a cool effing guy.
Bag lady. He's a bag lady.
Yeah.
He's just a motherfucking bag lady. If you
That's
want to
right.
be real about it.
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
He's
Yeah.
just a street walking bag lady.
Right. And we're all vagabonds at some point in our life. So that's fine. You can do your thing. But the reason that we wanted to have you on is because you are also a fellow crossroads walker.
That's definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
Or a Renaissance man, from what it sounds like you just described.
Yes.
And in Gen X terms, it might sound like a bag lady, but guess what?
Yes.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's how people start. That's how Trent Reznor pulled Nothing Records out of his ass. That's how that stuff happens. So
That's right.
Indeed.
I think it's beautiful like that.
Thank you, baby.
So I met this cat at Marie's, and
oh yeah,
we work at the same place. All of the Voodoo kids. Hello, everybody.
Oh, that's a fun story. All right.
Yes.
I have a fun
Go
story
ahead.
about
Yes,
that.
please.
Oh, just roll into it.
Yeah, get it. Go ahead.
All right.
Dusty, talk to the people.
All right. If Mariana and C are listening to this will be fun. So in 2009, when I first came to New Orleans, it was one of those situations where I came intending to stay for a week, and then I ended up here for 6 months. And for the first few months, I was just playing music on the street and selling art, and that was keeping me afloat financially. But at a certain point, I was like, what would it be like if I got a job? So I went and I applied at Marie's, the old one on St. Anne, and it was Raven Girl who gave me the application.
Yes, indeed.
Raven Girl.
Y'all know Raven Girl?
Of course.
Raven Girl has changed my life in weird and uncomfortable ways many times.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I end up I get interviewed. I don't remember who interviews me, but I get the job. And I go in for one day, and I was so, for training, and I was so overwhelmed by it that I just didn't come back. And then I just didn't come back. And then fast forward to 2018, I'm here again with my then partner, and we need to make some money, and I just do the same thing again, and I get hired again. And I was like, I really hope that one person that I worked with that one day isn't still working here, because that'd be awfully embarrassing.
Right.
But she was.
Of course.
But she didn't remember me, though.
Oh, good.
And then at one point, though, and I tried to be as charming and sweet as I could be.
Here,
But then at one point, she's like, you look really familiar.
Oh,
It's like, do I know you from somewhere? And I was like, no.
The Raven sees all. You can't mess with her, man. Yeah.
Anyway, but I had no idea what a, I don't know, what a profoundly kind of humanistic and touching chapter of my life working at that little magic store would be.
Indeed.
But that's the way it goes.
Yes, indeed. So, and also,
humanistic and touching is really a way to, we're all a little, delinquents a little bit as we walk into that construct, but it's a construct based on chaos's variables and celebrating the beauty of New Orleans, which celebrates people that are fringe and kind of experimenting with what's going on. So I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's our job. It's the job of, however you want to put it, the outsiders, the punk rockers, the rebels. It's our job currently to put things back together. You know, like, I
Indeed.
mean, when I was coming up, right, probably same with y'all. When I was coming up, the whole thing was like, what the fuck is this? What is the status quo? We're like, what? You people believe in this? Like, tear it down or whatever the
Right.
fuck, you know?
Sure.
It's been torn down. and,
Yeah.
like, and it's like, damn, all right, we did that. Like, we
Right.
did that.
Yeah.
So now it's our job to put it back together in a better way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for people that end up in the shop, I think that there's always a level of we didn't fit in somewhere else, but for some reason the tribe that we find in there is such an important thing to come across in life. And some people do
It's
have that
our tribe.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we know each
Yeah, you
other.
worked there too. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
dude. He
right.
was a reader there for years.
That's right.
That's where I met his dumbass.
That's right. So when
Yeah, we hung out. Hey, dude, I met Darren there, and we did parties at the House of Blues, and we
Cool.
ran around town
fun.
and did all
Hell yeah.
kinds of events.
Hell yeah. Love
Yeah,
it.
it was amazing.
Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
I came across your book.
right.
Oh,
That's how we met. Is that he'd read my poetry book before we met.
and a couple people told me, they're like, you remind me of Raven Boy.
Right. You talk that crazy existential metaphysical oneness shit. Yeah.
And I read your the New Orleans itself being a mystery school that they
Right.
had pinned up on that thing. You
Right.
know?
Well,
And
that was because of me. I would like take my poetry and then put it up around the shop just to kind of like manifest in the space something special about it
Right.
and to kind of emanate
Right.
some kind of frequency.
Oh,
You
right.
put little
Yeah.
like hermetic post-its everywhere, buddy.
I
Like I
did.
saw
I
you,
did.
dude. I saw what
I
you're,
did. Yeah.
you're doing your
Well,
thing.
and at Marie's in front of the Haitian altar, I had just a few of my poems, and then when I started to sell the book there, it was a way for people to see it, you know, and then be like, oh, this is available here, and come get it. But when I met Dusty,
By the way, the book information and how to
right,
get it is going to be in the notes. And if it's
sure,
just come into the store and buy it, that's okay because
yeah.
that's what's up.
I haven't produced it in a minute. I
Bring
probably,
it back.
I
Bring
know.
it
Well,
back.
I want to do part two. I
Part
really
two.
do want to do part two, of that poetry book,
Cool.
and I probably will now that we've talked about it. Now that I
There
have
you go.
to do it to satisfy
There
that.
you
But
go.
yeah,
So yeah.
so he read it, and then when I met him, I was coming in during COVID to just deliver stuff because
that's right.
I wasn't even working at the shop because I was hanging out with my family, staying safe, and I was
Mhm.
bringing in our product lines. But I saw Dusty, and me and him were just like, cool. And he's like, yeah, I read your stuff, and we started just rapping a little bit, and I'm like, this is a crossroads walker.
That's right.
This guy just understands
So
that, you know, that humanity is in a certain place, and there are certain characters that are meant to speak or to do art that helps manifest a new era.
Yeah.
You know,
so a
that just whatever
variable,
that
a
is.
change, someone who changes the paradigm. So Dusty Santamaria, how did the ball start to roll? And how did you go from like, I'd love to wear a polo and let's do this, but, or like, and let's change that. Like, I don't
Right.
want to do
Yeah.
that anymore.
Right. The origin story of Dusty Santamaria. What is that?
Yeah.
I mean,
What's
baby,
the origin story?
how far
Right.
back do you want to go?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
right.
mean,
Like,
look, no,
yeah,
I mean,
it's your story.
what do
Like what?
what, I mean, you know, we're here to just, for someone that, you know, wants to hop into the
All right,
vortex of what's happening with you.
I got it. All right, here, let me start like this. All right, the crossroads thing. All right,
Yeah.
like I have a song that is on my upcoming record, and it's called "Creature of the Crossroads," and,
Oh
and
shit.
the title of that song and a majority of the lyrics came to me in a dream, in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
There
The
you
Robert
go.
Johnson
Oh
story,
shit.
right?
Right.
I
Sure.
was in there. I was
Oh
in
fuck yeah.
Clarksdale, traveling through,
Right.
sleeping, and then I just
Holy
scribbled
shit.
this shit down. So
Right.
it to I guess just a quick recitation of this lyric will probably answer the origin story questions. It goes
Okay.
like this. It goes This is the sound that I put my faith in. I waited my whole life for this moment to begin. I know all about it, but here's the truth. I wouldn't be anything without you. I'm drinking lipstick. I'm tipping over shelves. I'm tearing up outdated definitions of myself. I'm here for it, so let me in. I waited my whole life for this moment to begin. As a creature of the crossroads, I've learned a couple tricks. In the masquerade of trust, in the marathon of skin. So all you other fools, you gotta step aside. I'm finally ready. The king of fools has arrived.
Yes, indeed.
Paradigm shift again.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
The
I
chorus is
mean,
this. The chorus is this. Hold up. Paradigm shift again, surfing in a swamp as the world caves in. And then there's a second verse if you want it.
Please tell
Okay.
us.
I'm walking down to New Orleans.
please go.
I'm walking down to New Orleans because she's one place that will dance despite the pain. It only hurts when we think it's real. And that's the thing we have to learn if we're to heal. As a creature of the crossroads, I've made an art of being poor. And I can be invisible in the middle of a war. I'm wealthy now. I got what I need. I'm wealthy. I'm healthy. I'm happy. And I'm free. Paradigm shift again. Surfing in a swamp as the world caves in. All right, here's the kicker. As a creature of the crossroads, I understand the criminal mind. And it's my job to transmute it into something divine.
Indeed. There you go.
Beautiful,
We
beautiful. And
take
that all happened. So were you sitting on the actual like intersection of something, or like close to, or where were you
No,
planted when all that inspiration like kind of welled up for you?
I was a friend of mine who now lives in Wisconsin had bought some property in Mississippi because it was dirt cheap
Mm,
and it was
right.
not
yeah.
far from Clarksdale, and he set up a studio, and I went there with some other friends to make a record that actually never like manifested fully because it
Right.
was kind of just like ramshackle.
Right.
Hmm.
But then I stayed out there for a few days, and I stayed at like just some no-name hotel in Clarksdale because I was like, oh, the mythology of it all, you know?
Sure.
And I just like was like, damn, this place feels this like there's a heavy feeling out there, boy. Like it just like it's not a happy uh
Did
geographical
it?
location.
Yeah.
Did those lyrics call to you like when you're lucid, like barely awake, or was it like a waking conscious like download sort of?
The title creature of the crossroads and the paradigm shift again, surfing in a swamp, that was dreamland. Everything else was like constructed afterwards.
Nice.
That's cool.
Okay,
And that's
man. That
I mean that
I'm very I'm sorry, babe.
well
I'm
that's
just like very
visionary, you know.
meticulous. I'm very meticulous with like I'm a Virgo, right? Like so I'm like
Yeah,
I get
okay.
super I get
that
There
makes
we
super
go.
sense.
Okay.
I get super meticulous about the songs, you know? Like
Of
every
course.
single thing,
I'm the
every
first
single
day of Libra, buddy, so I feel
Yeah,
you,
yeah, he's
man.
got a lot of Virgo flying around there too. Yeah.
but yeah. But yeah, man, the origin story, I mean, I come from 3 generations of fucking produce peddlers. I like to say that my family was like growing up in the carnival and the mafia at the same time.
Right.
Like
Indeed.
it's fucking bonkers, man. They were just like, you know, hustlers. My grandpa famously sold a warehouse full of just left shoes to somebody because he like charmed them into like thinking it was an idea, like something
Left,
that he wanted.
and that there had to be the left shoe too, right?
A
Right,
left
sure.
Like,
shoe, yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love it.
The other day at the
So, what's
shop, yeah.
your so
This is yeah.
your ethnicity is what I'm just a little curious. Like when we
Yeah.
say
So like
Middle European or what is it? Like
I'm a
I'm just
mutt.
curious.
I'm a mutt like all of us, but my mama said
Yeah.
like there's Mexican,
Okay.
and then but my dad's side like all kinds of stuff. So my full name is this. My full name is Dustin Santamaria Bavel, and Bavel is French. And
Right.
I was always
Uh-huh.
told that my great grandparents are from Lafayette, Louisiana. They
Right.
migrated west because that's where the work
Lafayette.
was.
Right. Okay.
So I never did the 23andMe thing because I thought that shit was creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like never
Well,
never
you were
got into
right
that.
because they're paying the
Yeah.
price right now.
That's
I
right.
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
they ain't
So
doing well right now.
all I have is the story of where I come from, you know. But
Sure.
I do know that like all it's not just New Orleans, like all of Louisiana though feels very much like home, and I feel very like just fulfilled here, like this like where I need to be.
Well, I
So
mean, I think sometimes there's a place that's your spiritual home,
yeah,
and you find some of those in your life, in your travels. And I know that us three, um, being here is a very special experience that is not duplicated anywhere else.
that's right.
It's a very
You're under sea
specific
level.
frequency. Well,
You're
it's
under
a
sea
very
level.
specific frequency
Yeah,
under sea level
yeah,
where spiritual like visitors and visionaries and eclectic artists and you
And
know
pirates and
and pirates.
fucking,
Yeah,
I mean,
people that
yeah,
grind people up in a meat grinder,
that's
and
right.
other
yes,
people that like
That's
walk
right.
across water like Marie Laveau. All of those people exist in the same space. That's intense. It's beautiful.
indeed,
It is
indeed.
intense. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
well,
also
yeah,
yeah.
we're here for that crossroads though. I mean, that's between worlds is where we find our biggest inspiration, because people come to us to experience what it feels like to not be in this world, and almost, what does it feel like? What is the next world like?
Uh-huh.
What does it feel like to be a visionary into the future? What does the future thought feel like?
Uh-huh.
What is the next stage of consciousness? What is the next stage of empathy? What is the next stage of communal living?
But
Right?
people
You know what I
people
mean?
also come here to just get fucked up though.
Yes.
Like, and just let it all out,
And
you know, to like indulge and do the things that like they're not allowed to do everywhere else. So like
Yeah.
so if like that consciousness that y'all are speaking to, or the spirits, or whatever, however you want to put it though,
Yeah.
like it feeds on it, you know. It's like give me. So
and
like
the
you got like
Gede and the Gede love that the
Yes.
ancestral
that's right.
spirits of the quarter and the
Yeah.
city. They
They love
just
it.
like they want to dance with you
They
with
sure
that.
do.
And I have to say, so my friend, shout out to Tina, who threw me a really wonderful like come back to Cleveland party. I just
Oh,
was sent
Yes,
back
Cleveland,
to
man.
Ohio,
I
yes,
want to go to
indeed.
Cleveland, dude.
Cleveland,
Yeah. What's
Ohio,
up, Tina?
and we
She
all
was
got
on our
up and
show once. So.
sang Age of Aquarius, and all these people that you would think would not be even remotely concerned about chiming in or being like they all got up. So I feel like there's a paradigm. Like I feel like, like we all had that sense of unreality, that like there's a transformative energy, like the whole nation slash maybe the world was having that
Right.
in the late 60s, early 70s. That
Right.
may be happening again. I'm not sure. Like I don't
Well,
know.
you look at it that way. It's every 30 years, right? So you got the late 60s, early 60s, late
There you
60s.
have
You
it.
got in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So the
Dude,
90s was extremely transformative, and now we look at the 20s, right?
yeah.
So and also the 30s before that. Like, we're
Yeah, the
looking at
roaring
these
20s.
intervals,
Yeah,
the
dude.
Yeah.
gestation and the reemergence of consciousness as it flows through these cycles.
To
And
me,
so we just
Right.
follow the cycles.
to me, it feels like it's like 1939 right now,
Yeah,
or
no,
like
that's a bad
1940. No, I'm
right.
for real
No,
though.
no,
Like
I
that's
know.
like that's what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like the same type of the
Right.
same shit, the
Right.
same fucking pattern. Like the new technologies, everything. Like the way that we once thought was real is not gonna fucking last. So what do we
AI can
do?
be
Right.
very, yeah, can be very scary. Like, I mean, and
Y'all know the
as a
magician
writer, you're a writer too, I would imagine, Dusty. Like,
He
writing
is.
from
bag
song to
ladies.
poetry.
Bag lady. Right. Bag lady.
the
Yeah.
way
So when
the way you
someone
do
says
anything, the way
Chat
you do
GBT to
everything.
you,
Right. Yes.
how do you feel about Chat GBT? That like makes me crazy, like a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. I'm team human through and through. That's why.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I do live here. That's why I'm like a street walking cheetah with a heart full of napalm.
right. Indeed. Yeah.
Runaway son of a nuclear A bomb. What up, Iggy?
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No,
That's
I
it.
like the
Right,
smell of
right.
napalm in the morning. You know what I mean?
yeah. But anyhow, yeah. So yes.
Yeah.
So wait, what time are we at?
Iggy is the spirit of the quarter, I think, man. Iggy is like, I think,
Indeed.
the
Well,
heart of the quarter.
I think what I also want to know is what types of thoughts and groupthink, like, because we talked about the Temple of Psychic Youth.
Hmm.
We talked about some of the things that you've been interested in and related to, and that other cat that you did some interviews with.
Antero Ali.
Right.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
can you
check out Antero Ali.
right? Can
Check
you
out.
speak on some of that, because I think our listeners that go along with some of the things that we talk about, this is an area of interest
Oh,
in the psychic world, in the
yeah,
metaphysical world, in the revolutionary world,
yeah.
in the reaction to the killing of the human spirit world. Right. So
Right.
can you tell, I mean, because I would like to know, even just from you, like, can you tell me what you have gleaned from the Temple of Psychic Youth and Psychic TV and just that kind of realm,
Sure,
please?
sure, sure. Yeah, pretty simple. It's just like the marriage of art and purpose, really.
Right.
You know, that
Yeah.
was for Topi. That was really what was. You know, and I mean, I love all of the decorative elements that that the Temple of Psychic Youth. I mean, just what a beautiful succession of words. The Temple of Psychic Youth. It just sounds sexy as fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so
And
like
it's free.
it's
Yeah.
cool. And
So
then like
so for
and then the
my cousin Joey,
uh,
that is Genesis Peorage's like enclave of how Psychic TV kind of launched a lot of different projects and things.
yes,
Or
and like it was
yes.
a
Okay.
collective, you know. I think Jen's like the main name, but it was a collective of a bunch of
Okay.
people that I don't,
I
you
see.
know, Genesis is the name that comes up.
Right.
Right.
But there's a cool like one thing that really resonated with me about them is like I mean 23 has always been my number, always, you know,
Mm.
and them two, because there's 23 pairs of chromosomes in human DNA. That's why 23 and me.
Well,
But there's this whole thing called the 23rd Enigma. But they would do a group ritual pre-internet.
and the
Where,
male and
huh?
female numbers as well. Yeah.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Sure.
So,
Oh, dope. Yeah, cool.
yep.
That's cool. I
Hmm.
never thought about that. That's not. I like that.
Nice.
Right.
Anyhow, but like, yeah, Topi would do a group ritual on the 23rd day, the 23rd hour of every month, and
Okay.
it's called the Sigil of Three Liquids.
Okay.
And essentially, you make a sigil, and then three kind of like liquids from your body of your choice, like use
Sure.
your imagination.
Right.
You put
Sure.
that in there, and then you and then you mail it. You mail it into like the trusted kind of like mothership, So it's
Okay.
pretty cult like or whatever, but pretty powerful. And like that really resonated with me. But yeah, I don't know. I've like
What
yeah.
state of consciousness do you think that is promoting, and how do you think that could help change the culture at large? Though, kind
I
of
think
that.
just
Those are the bigger questions, I
Sure. Okay.
think.
I mean, I think just remembering that we're born free,
Right.
like remembering that we're born
Hmm.
free, and like in order to stay free, you have to continue to mutate. It's very much like the X-Men.
Sure.
Like that story. I think
Look at
is like,
Darren. Look at him. Look at him. X-Men.
I got excited.
Right.
Well,
I know. Look.
because I've always related to the X Men because having a little extrasensory ability, it makes you feel a little like no one quite understands me, and like I
uh-huh,
can relate to their whole
for
story, and
sure.
that's why this guy from like the fucking Bronx who's out here trying to like Stanley is creating these characters because they're like relatable for people that maybe just are a little bit fringe or like not kind of just wanting to play the game exactly the way other people do,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
you know.
And that okay, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing is that art, like art, dictates the way that reality goes.
Right.
And it takes a
Mhm.
long time, and all like it was Shelley who said poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world.
Sure.
And
Mm.
that's real. Like the thing about it is like if you really got the currency, if you really got the frequency, you don't really give a fuck about being remembered or anything. You just got to do what you got to fucking do.
Yeah,
You
yeah. When
know?
you realize your
It's
sole
important.
purpose, the external
Hmm.
world becomes a lot less important because you know that
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
drop that in the pond, the ripples go,
Exactly.
and that's what you were left to do. Like that's
Exactly.
you can disappear into nothingness knowing that you did what your job was.
Exactly, which is what like I've
Yeah.
like that the spirit of collectivism, the spirit of like everybody contributing to something is why I first fell in love with like punk rock and DIY communities,
Sure.
which is like kind of still my
Mm.
thing.
Yes.
Like it's still my thing. I guess it's still like I'm a DIY bitch for life, and
Well,
there's like no
you're
way around it.
the warrior poet doesn't ask questions and ask permission to create a
The
movement.
warrior, yeah, not
Do
at
it
all.
yourself shall be the whole of the law.
Right. Yeah. Do it yourself. It'll be
Right.
the whole of the law.
Love is the
Right.
law, love under will.
Love under chill. You know what I'm saying?
Here's a quarter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give us that. Yeah, thank you. Yes,
They used to.
we appreciate the money. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Now we can eat. Thank you, guys. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, thanks for that.
Yeah, I love that. Like, all right, so me and Raven are chilling in Raven's car, and it's a Kia, and you know that Kia is the name, like the chaos magic word for the frequency of the universe,
Right.
right? Kia,
Indeed.
I
Mhm.
love that, and it's the car.
Yeah, yeah. That's why we're here. We're in the frequency of the universe mobile.
You're
Yeah.
in the like the
Drinking
variable
Miller High
pa
Life.
energy,
Right. Yeah.
the
Indeed.
chaotic
I just like to
energy.
laugh, man. That's the whole thing, Honestly, I feel best when I'm laughing. So I just try and laugh the most that I can. And it's like the world doesn't want you to laugh that much, It wants you to be afraid and be sad. And all of that is true. You know what I think? I think magic is strictly and 100% just attention.
Right.
It's just like if the universe is infinite, and it is,
Right.
what do you focus on?
Right.
The end.
Sure. Well, what's the next level? Because it's always like and we've talked about this before. It's like
Mhm.
you're psychically heading towards a door that you
Mm,
think is an answer to something,
mm,
right?
okay.
You think you're going to find this big reveal,
Mm,
and you've worked towards this like euphoric, understanding moment.
mm.
You open this door, and then there's 8 more doors,
Uh-huh.
and you're like,
That's right.
ah,
That's right.
fuck.
That's right.
I thought
And that's my story, but all right,
I
go
know that's
ahead.
what I'm saying. I was
Okay,
quoting you
right.
from a couple of pods ago, but that's
Yeah.
what I've been using that, by the way, DarrenBucare.com. No, I've been
Uh-huh.
using that, right? I've been using that because I
Look,
think it's a really great moment of humility.
Yeah. That's
It,
real.
it it is, and it was, and it still is, and that was someone
Yeah.
else's. Like I just, when you're pushing into like West African magic or
Mm,
ceremonial magic
mm,
or crawling up John D and Edward Kelly's ass or whatever the hell you're doing,
mm.
you're gonna find out that you can't just put it in a box and say now I understand everything. That's not happening.
Right.
Right,
Right.
right,
It's
right,
not.
right.
Well,
It's
okay,
not
look at it
happening.
this way, right? So if it I can't even talk. If existence is a continual changing and mutating thing,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
then there is no point of reconciliation. There
That's
is
right.
only an adventure.
That's right. That's right. I've been saying to the kid,
And
like
that's
one
what
thing that
Dusty is saying. Totally, Dusty's
That's what
like,
I'm
look,
saying. Like
motherfucker.
he's trying to
Yeah.
flow with the go, like my wife says. You're not going with the
Yeah,
flow, you're
yeah,
flowing with the
yeah,
go.
oh,
You
that's
feel
cool.
me?
I
yeah.
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
one of her
I
things.
fucking love that.
Hi
That's
baby.
dope.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking
That's
about.
dope.
Yes, indeed. So
Yeah, I
yes.
mean, like I feel very responsible to the kiddos, right? Like the people, like most of the people that care about my music and the records and stuff like that are kids in their like
Yes.
mid-20s, right?
Sure.
And so and like
Yeah.
for me, like the most significant
Mhm.
relationship I've ever had in my life is that of my poet mentor, who was born 12 hours apart from my father,
Wow.
Mhm.
and same year, 1941,
Mhm.
Interesting.
and died 12 hours after my birthday.
Wow. Okay, so
Oh,
12. Yes.
okay.
So there we so I mean, like you like
Synchronicities abound in the
yeah, like
land of the
magic, like you don't really
widows.
have to try. That was my Mardi Gras lesson, is you don't really
Right.
have to try, just listen very closely
Sure.
in regards to magic.
Yes.
I love, but hold up, like side note, I love the way this image behind you, Darren, looks. Like it's so cool because it's like a crazy fucking face. It's like now it's above your head, but to me, with the sunglasses on, it's like this amazing creature face.
Yeah, well, it's they're kind of Halloween decorations, but they're flowers with eyes and
Pretty.
snakes,
I
and
love
one's
it.
creating a shadow maybe, and then there's
Yeah.
candles. So
Love it.
Indeed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you
So,
were saying who was your mentor?
oh, his name is Walt Curtis, and I love
Okay.
you. I fucking love you forever.
Mm.
Thank you for everything. Thank you so much for everything. I love you. Um, I love you. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, he just like I met him when I was 22 years old.
Right.
Mm.
He was 62 years old, and he was like a fucking out there character, man. I tell
Right.
you what. But brilliant, not of this world.
Right.
He
The
had
best
this.
of us are not.
Yeah, he had a severed middle finger
Right.
on his left
That's
hand.
dope.
His
That's
left
like
hand. Yeah,
Right.
piratical.
it was a
I love it.
sawmill accident, Oregon City in the
Hmm.
'60s. That's the only thing that prevented him from being drafted for the Vietnam War. He couldn't shoot a rifle. He couldn't shoot a gun properly.
Poor guy. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
divine
Sure.
providence right there, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, but like I remember the impact that he had on me by just like turning me on to so much of what I love, you know. I never went to school, man. Like I don't know, like I barely fucking graduated high school, you know. I just thought I was gonna be a rock and roll star or whatever. But
Sure.
like this cat turned me on to like so much great literature, poetry. Like I was really hungry
But I
for it. It
think
was
you
like,
are though,
Sure.
huh?
because the people that know enough to find you will
Exactly.
understand that you're like a
Exactly.
Frank Zappa or what have you. Like
But like,
that's
thank you. But I
we
feel
need
like
that.
I feel like that relationship taught me how to be, you know, like
Yeah.
a link in a chain. So like I'm very um
So you're saying you're kind of standing with all of the people that stood before, and you're still part of that chain.
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I recognize my influence in people that will have a lot more scope
Sure.
than me, and
Sure.
I'm okay with that, you
Right.
know. But like I recognize, yeah, like I recognize that I can kind of get ideas into the culture
Sure.
by who I communicate with, and like a lot of those are like up and coming stars in the music scene in New Orleans now that have the ambition of like people that are in their early 20s, you know.
Sure.
Like
It's
my
hard to learn from people that you feel like are just figuring it out barely and learn from their movements, but you realize that you were that person. I was that person in the early 2000s. I was that person. Like,
mm,
so I listen and I evolve and change, and you learn from your mentors too. Like that
Sure.
humility. Like
a
it's
hundred,
tough.
yeah, that's, I mean, that's all it is. That's all it is.
It's
They
just
pass.
passing,
Yeah.
what we pass down the sacred flame
Right.
of art and creativity and consciousness exploration.
Right.
We learn it from people who have written it down before, and then we write it down in our particular perspective so that when people follow, they catch something because it's the way that we speak, right? If it mutates every generation has a way of speaking it that the new
For
generation
sure.
learns how to say it
For sure.
to their people,
For sure.
right?
Yeah,
So
that's
they can transmute it.
for sure. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like I always I like to be saying recently, I'm like, language is alive, and
Yes.
it's our job to
Alive.
rewrite it.
Sure.
Rewrite it like all the time. You know, it's a living thing. Language, I feel like, is a living thing that is like, if you know, maybe it's the alien force.
Well, how about this? And we can take that to a place where Darren and I talk about sometimes when we talk to people about who they're going to look to practice magic or get into things. Because Darren said in another
How are
podcast,
these kids is a good one.
right, those guys over there, let's tell those kids. But yeah, but I'm saying, like, when you have, I would say, an inkling that you should look into magic and into psychicism or into something that you're experiencing, you can go 100 years back to the Golden Dawn. You can go, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can go back to all these almost like outdated ideas.
Do what feels organic, right? Don't you
Right,
have to fucking do what everyone else says? Oh, Golden Dawn, la la la.
right.
Like,
Because that's what I'm saying, is that
maybe
there's
it's
always a
Luther
new language.
Vandross, dude. Like, what's up with Luther? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, what's up?
Hey now. Yeah, but that's what we're talking about, is that there's always a new language. There's always a way of understanding things that only people of that generation are going to understand, and we have to leave them breadcrumbs so they can find their own path into what we're already doing, because they can't do it like us. They have to do it like them,
Yeah.
and we have to pay attention to it. So I think that's cool.
Like I think that one thing about magic is like you can look at just like anybody that is like kicking ass in their particular field or whatever.
Right.
Like Michael Jordan, when he was like, he would say that he visualized the basketball hoop being 6 feet wide.
Right.
Like, and that's what he kept doing. You know what I mean? It's like
Sure.
like it's there in any kind of like quote unquote successful thing. Like I mean Kendrick, like fuck, dude. Like you want to learn
Indeed.
magic, just listen to Kendrick Lamar.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
watch his Super Bowl performance. Like,
Right.
the cheat code. Like
Right.
come
The
on.
cheat code of it. And if we talk about
Let him
music,
cook. Like, that's it.
let him cook.
Just
Let him
yeah.
cook. And I think, I mean, when we talk about music, I feel like music is a language that connects all people, is a universal language. And it's something that crosses cultures, it crosses belief systems. It basically eviscerates the differences between people and shows them that they're all the same.
Yeah.
Can I
Because
tie
you
it all
get
together
everybody
by saying
dancing in
like
a room.
mantras, for example? Like mantras.
Sure.
Mantras are not specifically words. They're literally tonal programs that you just say,
Yeah.
like
Right.
Om, Dum, Durga. Like they're literally meant to make you feel better or make you feel whatever the mantra is supposed to do. So that
Right.
is specifically, or a specific drumming like recitation, like like this is.
Oh sure.
Like, so no, it doesn't need to be some thought provoking thing. It just needs to
Right.
organically affect your on a
Yeah.
like a
It's
spiritual level.
for
Well,
sure.
that's,
Especially
yeah,
now I think because it's like from just like where we're at collectively, like people have to start learning magic really fucking fast.
sure.
So it's like, how do you do it super quick? You know? And
Sure.
it's like, yeah, drop all the veils and the illusions and just get down to the fucking primal source of what it is.
That's why we talk about this
It's
stuff.
like it's life force. It's like all all magic is sex magic. It's life force energy. It's just paying attention to that what is. You know what I
It's your
mean? It's
ka,
like
it's your chi, right?
all
It's
these
all
all
of
those
that shit.
things. All that, yes.
Okay, and if we're
Primal
talking
energy.
about sound, they're starting to notice what the mystics have always known, is that
Okay.
sound and frequency affect the physical and spiritual and emotional environments that you're in.
Oh,
So what is the power of music? Because it's not
It's
the power of music is not just,
everything.
yeah, but it's advertisement on the radio, right?
Oh, that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
that's
yeah, it's been colonized like everything else.
right.
But
So
like,
that's the whole point, is
you know.
what is the power of music? What is the job of a musician in an age of chaos? What is the power of sound?
To read the room and to mirror, like to mirror back as
Right.
like as like there needs to be more adults in the room.
Sure.
I think the great paradox.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Right.
Like there need yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, just say something important or say something proactive or say what you mean, but don't just like mimic a
Yeah.
Right.
trend or
But
Sure.
mimic fashion or mimic.
but that's the thing though. Like I think like human nature is to mimic each other. Like that's
Sure.
just how it is.
Right.
And that's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. When you realize that you don't actually exist in the way that you think you do, you know, you're just like a flake of fucking damn Gaulis text.
I know. Yeah, I'm getting a text from Marie Laveau. All right, get out of here.
meow, 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 meow. You
Right.
know, when you are just like a link in an ongoing chain, which is consciousness, you know, and like to be born is to die. Like I wrote a line the other day that I'm pretty proud of. It just says like, hold up. It's worth it. It goes, the world is fucked. It's in my kiss. All the alchemists will remember this. A human life is a human birth is shadow and breath. Life is still the leading cause of death.
Life is still the leading cause of death. Yeah, I like that.
Or like birth. I fucked it up. But anyway, where were we
That's
at?
beautiful. Yeah, the Ouroboros, literally
Well, I mean,
birthing and destroying at the same time.
Yeah, so okay, so music, right? And like this whole thing, the life of reading the room, the adults in the room. Like
right.
like just to like if it is the aeon of the child, and it certainly fucking seems so.
Sure.
Like Horus, right? The
Horace
screaming
is,
fucking child
yeah,
baby.
he's having a tantrum.
So it's like the great paradox is the more adult you become, the more fun you can have, like
Right.
as a child.
Right.
Isn't that it? Like instead of running
I
around
think I have
crying
a
and
shirt that says that. Seriously.
Right.
cool.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
If there ever was a
Ask him,
holy
he
child,
knows.
it would be
I
that.
love that. I love that.
These are three holy children just
love
having a seance here for the spirit of humanity.
Seriously.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Sure. And the way that I look at sound too, because obviously
Yeah.
the music that I make and the lyrical levels that I'm trying to promote are not common to the space of music.
Mm.
When you talk of super spiritual, metaphysical ideas and connectivity and interpersonal euphoria, creating a collective euphoria, like all of these ideas that we have, we are actually tasked with creating the ritual that will leave an impression that will change the world.
That's right.
That is what music is for.
That's right.
Because tribes that come together in a ritual that has sound and structure, I'm here to help.
That's his shirt.
Right. The guy's walking by, his shirt says, I'm here to help.
And
That's the whole point.
I raised
Yeah.
my cup.
Hey, buddy. What's going on, buddy? He goes like this. How you doing, buddy? But that's what I'm saying. It's like, if sound and music and philosophy can come together in a way that promotes the evolution of our species, I would like to be at that show.
Well, you are. Welcome to the show.
Right. Welcome to the show.
Like, I
right.
mean, that's
Well,
like, it's like
there
you've
have been a few of them in the last like 50 years for sure.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. And that's kind of, I think, what I find beautiful about music and about art and poetry is that it's such a super personal experience. Yeah. And the more personal you get, the more inside yourself you get, the more other people feel it. And I think you're that kind of artist.
Did your cat just meow?
Yes. Is that your
Kurt
cat?
Russell just
right.
What's
Kurt
up,
Russell
Kurt Russell?
Right, that's a good answer.
Can we
Kurt
see?
Russell,
Can we see her? Him? It?
There
What
he
is
is.
he?
Yeah, there
Hi,
he is.
Kurt Russell. Oh,
Yes.
you
Yeah,
fucking
man.
precious creature.
He's
I
a
love me
bit of
some
an
cats.
attention freak. Yeah, like so.
Yeah.
Definitely, I
He likes
definitely
to be-
think they're more evolved than human beings.
Well, if you've ever
for
looked
sure.
if you've ever looked at a cat on acid like I did one time, my family cat, I was tripping very hard and I looked at the cat, it stared at me, and I literally saw it turn white and turn into like a death cat, and it stared at me and it said, "You're going to be okay."
Oh, nice.
What does the death cat mean? What
It
does
just
that mean?
looked like it because it looked like skeleton. Like their hair went away. It just looked like a cat, but
Like
the
a sugar
eyes were
skull
still
cat
glowing.
of some sort, or what? Like,
I'm sorry I was on acid, but they told me you're going to be okay.
were you on Poco Loco at the time?
Poco Loco?
I was going. hey, yes.
Poco Loco.
Yes, indeed. All right. So to sum this up, I do want to also ask you, right? What are you doing right now? Because I know you're working on a record. You can tell us about that and what's going on with that, and how do people connect with you and find out what the Dusty Santamaria train?
Cool,
where can you get a ticket to that? Right.
Come on down to the station with cash in your hand.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yes.
Cash in your hand, like what's happening?
Yeah. I'm working. Yeah, man. I'm like, dude, I am not here for the fucking post-human machine shit. Like, I just want to be. That's why I claim bag lady with like pride, you know.
Yeah.
I just like I'm a street person.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm working on a record that is. Like I'm putting more emphasis and attention into this particular thing than I ever have with anything before. Because I got a lot of shit out there. You know, if people want to find me, they can find me.
Yeah.
Like it's out there.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Like what do you think is worthwhile for people to really Like if they want to get a nexus of like what's happening with you or what you've created,
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
yeah, this upcoming record is the one. It's going to be it.
it's the one.
It's called High Art Heavy Trash. So last year 2024 kicked my ass severely, and I had like a
Hmm.
pretty massive psychological breakdown and was very lost.
Hmm.
Luckily, I got to be very lost on the big island of Hawaii.
Right, I told you he was picking fruit. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
He was over there.
I was working with my brother picking. Yes, I was working on a
that's
fruit farm. But a
That's
bunch
so
but
good.
a
That's
bunch of
so cool, though.
but a bunch of
if
family
you're gonna do it, that would be the way to go. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
but
that's the place to do
but a
it. Yeah,
bunch of family karma bubbled up and it
right,
exploded. He threw me over a
Hmm.
table.
right.
They
So you
kicked me
had some,
out,
you had some
you
things,
know.
right? Okay,
Um
but that all informs your art.
yeah, and then so then I had no money. I had nowhere to live. I all my shit was in a storage unit here in New Orleans, and I couldn't come back here midsummer in the state that I was in, and plus I had no fucking money. So I had to go to my parents' house.
Right,
I was 41 years old,
right.
and I had to to
It
go
happens
back
to
home.
everybody.
I
Yeah,
had to go back home to my fucking aging folks.
right,
And then I ended up driving Uber in Southern California from San Diego to Los Angeles to wherever
right.
5 nights a week. Cause like a long time ago, like a lifetime ago, I lived in with my poet mentor and all that. Like I was a taxi cab driver in Portland, Oregon,
Right.
and it was like the best job. And so
Indeed.
I just kind of like went back into that
And
mindset.
Fred
5 nights a week,
Armisen
12.
was in the back seat, like
Right.
usually,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, this,
Yeah,
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 this is perfect. This is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes,
right,
indeed.
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is perfect. So wait, why am I talking about that? Oh,
You're.
I
It
remember
led to your
because,
album. Right.
I don't know.
It led to
but
where you're at now.
but
Yeah.
last year I released a record. You can find it on Spotify and all these things.
Okay.
It's like I like it, but it's
I thought
not.
it was a great record.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like it. It's not the masterpiece, but it's called A Character Betrays the Author, and I released it on my birthday. So I decided then and there that I'm gonna release new music every year on my birthday until I die. And so that's what I'm doing with this one. But this record is like the what, like I've done so many albums at this point that like I know exactly what not to do. And like I'm
And
leaning in
so to
to the
clarify, the
intuitive
name of the
voice.
record is
High art, heavy trash.
High art,
High
heavy
Art Heavy
trash,
Trash
Yeah,
and
and
it's
we're
by
coming out
Dusty
at
Santa
some point.
Maria.
yeah,
Yes.
and we're
And
working on it right now. Like the release date is slotted to be August 24th, 2025.
they can
Indeed.
find a single or two maybe on Spotify slash
Not yet, but
at
you can
some
find
point.
all, but you can find everything else that I've recorded on
Yeah, there's all
Spotify.
kinds of great music on there, and we'll
Thanks.
probably have you back on
Mhm.
right as you release your record, and
That'd be
maybe we'll
cool.
talk about it
That'd be cool.
and leave some
I
links
would
to
love
it
to
at
do
the
that. I would love
time.
to do that.
Because I wanted to talk to you outside of music and just talk about, have a rap session here.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah,
can
we'll definitely
we
get
can
back to you on that about the real record when it's coming out for
we
sure.
can yeah, we
Yeah,
can go deep into the weeds of all the things. Yeah, like
indeed.
there's a lot here. But yeah,
Well,
that
like
like
Arthur Rimbaud, when he was
yeah.
doing his poetry,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
he was, like he just went down the funnel. He went down the rabbit hole, and then he
Uh-huh.
Sure.
like didn't quite come out. But
Yeah,
you're here with us, and I
You
want to
got
know
shot in the
what is
hand.
going
yeah,
on and
yeah.
what you have to add, because I mean, you worked with some of my favorite experimental artists like ever, and
Cool.
it
Indeed.
says a lot, and I think that's
Oh, right on.
incredible.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just out here
yeah.
having fun. I'm just trying to stay free. That's it. Like
Hey,
I'm just
and
trying to
I
stay
Well,
think
free.
that's a great tagline.
ask
Stay
him. That's
free
a
with
lot of what I've
assistance.
did for my 17 years in New Orleans, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, we've all been a part of that. All right,
Hmm.
so we're bringing this episode to a close. We
Cool.
want to appreciate
Yeah, man. Thank you. That's
and give
fun.
flowers to Dusty
That's
for
fun.
coming on and rapping with us.
Look away, the light is changing.
I know the sun's setting. It's a beautiful day. It's Easter Sunday
Is it
or whatever.
purple? Is
The
it purple
resurrection.
outside?
It's
Like
just
like it
it's
does
turning
on
like
Sunday?
like yellow,
I
orange,
love that.
purple. It's how New Orleans is. I
I
get a
love that.
causeway
Yeah.
drive ahead of me,
Yeah.
so
It's like the color of a ripening tangerine.
indeed, yes, it is a tangerine dream, if you will. Right? Hey, no, come on. Hey, now.
Tangerine
Some
dream.
props for that at the end. Yeah.
Come
All
on,
right.
that was
Yeah,
good.
that was good. All right, check. All right, so we're gonna go out on that high note. Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
Fucking
Raven
beautiful.
boy in the house. Yes.
That's right.
All right. So walking the
All right.
crossroads. Thank you, Darren.
Darren, good to meet you,
All
man.
right. All
Good to
right.
meet
Real
you.
pleasure to meet you. I look forward to meeting you in person.
For real.
And we'll
We
see you
talking.
again on Walking the Crossroads.
I hope so.